I'll tell you this. I could have the best prospector in the world. Best prospector, right? Tonality, scripting, every single thing is perfect. If that person is competing with someone who's the worst prospector, can't get something right at all, right? Just fumbles everything. Terrible tonality. But if that person who's terrible at prospecting is nonstop working 8 hours a day, dialing, prospecting, and the most skilled person never picks up the phone, that person's going to outwork this person and outsell this person any day of the week. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Justin Rodriguez, your favorite lender here in Neighborhood Loans, and we're back with another episode of Cafecito Talks. We're super excited to introduce this guest because this guest right here is actually, I have a couple funny stories I'll tell throughout the podcast, but it's very humbling to be on the same table with him as of right now. He is like the epitome of entrepreneurs. Did a couple backgrounds on him, and, you know, whether it didn't matter what business it was, he always found a way to persevere in any business that he was currently in. And real estate is the current business he's doing, and he is killing it. I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars of production. And I believe you say you want to do up to $1 billion. So we'll touch base on that pretty soon. But I present to you, Rafay Kumar. Thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Thank you, Justin.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys coming all the way here. This is fantastic.
Of course.
Excited to have you here. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be good, man. And I think one of the main things that I want to touch base on today, I think there's a lot of people, including myself, that look up to you in the industry. And when I first got into the industry, the story that I was talking about is a lot of times when you get into the lending industry, the first thing they teach you is, okay, look at the realtors that are in the business, see and prospect and do all this stuff. You were the first names that came up.
That's right.
And I'm like, man, imagine if I call this guy, he'll probably like hang up on me in 2 seconds because, you know, and I know a lot of the things that you talk about is getting denied. And that's something that's important about the business. Yeah. And so you fast forward, and I think I saw you speak at a NowRep event. And again, you know, a lot of the times that, you know, approaching somebody of that caliber up front is like, man, will this guy talk to me? So fast forward even more to now where we're at right now, and it's cool to be able to have a conversation of a like-minded individual that's just, you know, killing it in the industry, man. Wow. So kudos to all the things.
Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, man. This career, this life, it's full of rejection. Yeah. And you know, a lot of people give up before they even start. Yeah. Right. And that's where you just have to kind of keep pushing through. And you know, even our business, if you look at our sales business. Statistically, every single broker will give up after one attempt, one rejection. Wow. Right? And statistically, in order to connect with someone, you need to have 7 to 8 touches. So you have to keep going. You got to go beyond the rejection. Let me ask you a question. Did you call me ever?
No, I actually did. Yeah.
See, a lot of people, because I'll tell you this, I would have answered your call. And I always do, and I always try to connect with people. And we have, you know, been in business for over a decade now, and sold over $500 million worth of real estate just in the past 3-4 years. And there's a Rolodex of vendors that we have, preferred vendors, but we're always adding people, right? So we're always trying to build connections. There's only so much a person can satisfy and kind of close. So as we scale and as we're going from 50 million to 100 million, 100 to 170 million, and $250 million beyond, and the goal is to do $1 billion a year production here by 2027. We're very, very precise and clear with our goals. We can't do it with one person. So it's very important to have the right team supporting and helping out. So I urge people to not give up, because I think a lot of times rejection is in your mind, and you just have to go past that rejection and pick up the phone. Right. It's very important. I mean, we do it every day. I run a large sales organization. We have shy of 30 brokers and about 5 staff members right now. And we have a prospecting crew. So every Monday and every Wednesday, we get together right here in this roof, under this roof. And we arrive at 7:45 for Money Monday session and Winning Wednesday session, right? And the objective is that we ask everyone, what's your goal for today? Yeah. And, you know, is it 1 face-to-face, 2 face, whatever the case is. Yeah. And it's mostly FSBOs, cancels, and expireds. So we're dealing with rejection every single day, but we also know that 95% of the brokers are not even picking up the phone because they're letting the rejection stop them from even moving forward. Right. But we are, right? And oftentimes, yes, it's difficult, right? We as humans take the path of least resistance, and if you're dealing with rejection, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But really, there's a lot of gold beyond the fear. There's a
Right.
lot of gold on the other side of rejection.
Right.
So that's what I coach these people. Pick up the phone, keep fighting, keep getting rejected, play the no game. And the no game is, I don't know if you know the date, like, are you familiar? Have you heard of what the no game is? I'm sure you kind of figure it out. But
Right, right.
if you kind of, all these dating coaches, they'll when they take someone who's struggling with going on dates or whatever the case is, right? They'll tell them go play the no game at a bar. And the way it works is find someone and get rejected. Ask for the number, right? Find a girl, find a guy, whatever, and ask for the number and get rejected. The goal is to get rejected X amount of times because by default, success comes the next one, right?
Wow.
So in real estate, the algorithm roughly is about 22 no's to a yes. So you have to chase the no's. So just get rejected.
Keep dialing the phone
Keep
until-
dialing, keep
Till it's a
getting
yes.
rejected because success comes by default.
And I love that, man. I think that was the epitome of why I wanted to be here, because I think this is, for me, a very good stepping stone for myself. Exactly what you're saying is, I think as you grow in the industry, you do grow a certain level of confidence that you don't have up front because you're new into the industry, and you have to develop and build it over time. And that was one of the things that I wanted to obviously meet and grow and meet more individuals like you, because you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And I think that the more that I meet individuals like you, it makes me hungrier, because you foresee a vision of yourself of what you could potentially do if you do all the right things, right? And there's no secret to it, right? Like we were just talking about it. You get here at 7 o'clock and you potentially leave here at 8, 10 o'clock, and because you have a goal and you have a vision in mind that you're looking to hit, and there's nothing that's going to stop you from getting to where you need to be. And a lot of times it's not about the end result, it's about the journey, right? It's about the grind on getting there. Absolutely. And that's why I love Kobe. I love the quote that he brought forth, because that changed my perspective on my business, right? And I think a lot of individuals kind of deter you from what you want to be, because they try to almost unleash their visions and their thoughts and their goals of their life onto you. And that's why it's like when you get into business, a lot of people tell you you're not going to be a top producer within the first 5 years. You have to build it. You have to scale it. Yeah. And I don't think, for other individuals that are watching this, I don't think that's true. I think you can scale and grow a business simply based on your mindset and what you do on a daily basis. And the activities you do are the most important part.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to ask you, how did you develop the mindset? Because I know that you, after I watched a couple of videos of you developed a couple businesses, right? And it not all of them succeeded right away, but then you got into real estate, you fell in love. I believe you were in banking as well. How did you develop the mindset to first get into real estate and just build the business that you've developed thus far? Yeah,
that's a great question. Wow. So you're taking me many years back here, but yeah, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. My father, who's my hero as well, he's a doctor, he's a physician. I look up to him very much. He's responsible for all the success that I have today. But he's very opposite of me personality wise. I'm a super risk adverse personality. I take a lot of risks, and for him, he's very conservative. So I saw him and I saw the lifestyle, and I always wanted to kind of do something completely different. Personally, it was always scaling, being an entrepreneur, having multiple people that I'm associating with, touching a lot of lives and paying it forward. That's always been kind of in the back of my mind. So 11 years old, my brother and I, we started handwriting newspapers. So we just kind of started doing research, and I was handwriting these pamphlets, and I remember we were like 7, he was 7, I was maybe 8, 9, and I'd send him out to the local Xerox machine copier. This is back home. So
back in the day, man.
Right, back in the day. And I'm like, all right, here, a few cents at that time, right? And I'm like, make X amount of copies, and we're going to go distribute them in the neighborhood. And we were selling them for not what I would say, maybe not even 30 cents, right? But that was like kind of the first like bug that I got around 9, 10 years old. Fast forward, a couple other ventures in college. Let's talk about that. In college, I had a music management company called 8-Track Management. At one point, we were managing 8 bands. A couple of them performed at Lollapalooza and tried breaking mainstream as well. But again, that also failed. Music management business not easy.
Yeah,
right? It's fun, but it's not easy. I think around 2006 or 2007, I had a mobile cupcake shop that I worked in to kind of like develop that as well. We were going around and we had 2 trucks, and there were 2 brothers, 4th generation bakers. That didn't work out. So failure after failure after, and I was in banking as well. But every single failure and mistake just taught me, a great lesson that I've just implemented today. And that's what I say to all my people as well, team members and anyone I meet, is just fail faster, fail forward. In 2013, I think I got my license, but I was in banking for about 6 years before that. And enjoyed banking quite a bit. I wanted to get a little kind of a slice of corporate America and see how that kind of works, how that feels and everything. But just didn't enjoy it. It wasn't gratifying enough. Right. And that's when I got my license in 2013. I think it was 2013, June, July. And I came back home. I was just tired and exhausted from just this banking 9-to-5 dead end. What I felt was just quite dead end job. And turned on TV, and I came across Bravo TV. And I think it was season 1, $1 Million Listing LA, Josh Flagg. I saw him, and the camera starts. It's panning on his loafers, and then this little kid, 18-year-old kid, just going around showing these $1 million mansions. And I'm seeing checks that are $50,000, $200,000, $300,000. I'm like, wow, like that's I can't make that even a year. This little kid is pulling this off in a couple of months here. So I got just instantly hooked, and I'm like, this is what I want to do. I mean, I like this lifestyle. It's about something about it is connected or resonates with the American dream as well, which is helping people achieve the American dream of home ownership. And I just got hooked. So I got my license 2013. 2014 is when I actually started practicing, and I didn't have any sphere of influence. I had resigned from the bank position as well, so I didn't have any income coming in. So I'm like, all in, burn the boats. And that's one thing that I will urge and advise. If you are coming in real estate, burn the boats. You cannot be a part-time real estate agent. There's no such thing as part-time real estate agent. With this NAR lawsuit, I will, on record, I'll tell you about 30 to 40% of the brokers will be completely out of business in next 12 months, if not earlier. And these are people that got in the business during COVID times when market was super, super aggressive. Everyone was looking to purchase. Interest rates were 2.5. You probably remember, right? I mean, you're probably lending, and you probably, your phone was ringing. You
record-breaking years.
Record-breaking years, right? Real estate sales, mortgage sales, every single thing. Massive inflation, or portfolios were inflated. Every single thing was just off the charts. But now that the dust is going to settle, it's going to definitely separate a lot of skilled people versus people that have no skill. Especially now that we have to go and explain our value as a buyer's agent to people. That, hey, listen, you're going to have to sign this agreement, and if I don't get paid, you're going to actually have to cover my compensation. So all those consumers are going to be finding the best of the best. Because if they got to pay someone 2.5%, they're going to make sure that they pay someone who's going to be able to save them way more than 2.5%, right? Just writing a contract's just not going to cut it. They're going to be hundreds of companies that are going to pop up. They'll write the contract for you, right? So either consumers will just have no representation and they'll just have a legal counsel, or if they're going to get a buyer's agent, they're going to be very specific about who they pick. Right. And that person has to be very, very skilled, and there has to be massive value prop.
And it's funny you say that. I actually had a very long conversation with a buyer that's the same exact thing. He's talking to me, and recently just pre-approved him. He's like, well, I don't understand why. Now, obviously, July is coming very soon. Why do I need a buyer's agent? And it was already the first conversation, and I was like, man, I mean, that's a good question, but I think the real issue is, this guy actually found me online, and I was like, the real issue is I think you're just being misrepresented. Like the fact that you have to ask that question up front is just showing that you're being misrepresented, but the value isn't there. And I was like, whether it be right now or even after closing, the value of having an agent is being able to pick up the phone and call them for any real estate related question. Absolutely. Now you go deeper into what a buyer's agent could provide to you is, you're going showings. You think like you said, there might be apps that are developed, but that's still years away. You think a real estate attorney is going to drop everything at 7:00 at night to write an offer for you? While it's multiple offer situations, while we're in a situation where you have to submit an offer before the open house happens on a Sunday. Like, there's scenarios where people don't really understand or comprehend the value of an agent. And I think it's just more so for us to educate our clients, understanding what we could provide, and lenders edifying our real estate partners, because it really is important to have those referral partners around us, and for us to just educate our clients so that way they can get the best deal possible, because we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys.
I'll tell you this. I mean, again, the way I see it is real estate agents are kind of the alpha in the whole transaction.
Quarterback.
But then it's a quarterback, right? And it's very, very important to have the right team. Michael Jordan didn't win any championship by himself, right? He had the right people. You got to have the right lender. You got to have the right attorney. You got to have the right insurance people. You got to have right, contractors. You got to. It's on and on and on. There are about 7 or 8 people that get fed from one transaction, right? So there are that many lives that are affected. You've got 2 real estate agents, you've got a lender, you've got 2 attorneys, you've got an inspector, you've got the title people, you've got the underwriter, you've got processor, you've got surveyors, you've got appraisers. I mean, it's on and on. It's just, it's a massive, obviously, industry, and there's so many people connected to it. That's why it's very important to make sure you have the best of the best, because if one domino piece kind of falls, the whole transaction can go sideways.
Right. And buyers don't understand the landmines that could occur when you're in the process, which is why we're here to kind of guide you in everything that we've done thus far. But I mean, you're buying the largest transaction or asset of your life, right? I mean, you don't want to cheap out on finding the right person. You want to make sure that you go all in, do the research, completely comprehensive research, look at reviews, find the local experts in the market, expert in the field, interview them, and then move forward with the right team. But again, having done so many transactions, thousands of transactions, I'm sure you've done so many transactions yourself. At this point, we understand who are the right people that are going to help us move forward. Right, you kind of come up with your team by default. But just real quickly, going back, just 2014, just to kind of finish that story up. 2014, I remember I didn't have any clientele whatsoever, and that was the last year they were throwing those yellow pages. I don't know if you remember the yellow pages, right? You're a lot younger than I am. But I don't know if you remember or not, but those books, they would have names, numbers, addresses, and everything. I think that was the last year they had Yellow Pages books. After that, they started throwing CDs, and then they went away. But I just grabbed one of those, and I was just looking through. I was going to trash it until I was like, all these names, numbers, everything is right here. This is my holy grail. This is it. Like, I don't need. I'm going to start cold calling. I didn't know if there were laws against it or what. Ignorance bliss, right? I started dialing, and I remember 1, 2, 3, rejection, boom. Someone's like, you know what? I'm not looking, but my brother's looking. Why don't you give him a call? Can I have the number? Absolutely. Here's the number. Give him a call. Tell John Smith asked you to call him, and he needs help. Find him a property. Right? Great. Appointment set. Boom, boom. One rejection. Third one, 7th one, just, hey, listen, I actually, for sale by owner. I'm thinking about selling my house. I tried, it's not really moving. This is back in 2014, so property wasn't moving that quickly at that point, still recovering from that, 08 crash. 2012 was rock bottom, so it was kind of on the rise. And this property was in Skokie. It was 7% increase year over year, so market was coming back up. But that's really how I built my business in the beginning. I did $10 million my first year, and as Rookie of the Year, I think you were talking about how do you get in the mindset. It didn't matter if the listing was a $1,000 rental or a $90,000 foreclosure or $200,000 single family somewhere in Southside. I was driving anywhere, everywhere. I remember I worked 7 days a week, no days off, probably 10 to 12 hours every day. So it didn't matter. Too many people get hung up on, I want to only be in this subdivision. I want to be only in this building or this zip code. When you're starting off, just get as many transactions under your belt, because by default, that'll give you confidence. Right.
Cool. That's kind of the journey. And after, first year, I did $15 million my second year. This was at Coldwell Banker. Here's another tip for everyone who's listening and is aspiring to be a real estate agent. I thought that finding the most expensive community, most expensive zip code, and getting and hanging my license over there was going to be the key to success. And that's far from truth. It doesn't matter where your brokerage is. It doesn't matter. Of course, there's some factors that help out, but I thought just getting my license in Winnetka, in a New Trade District, would just start automatically allowing me to tap into that market, and I'm going to start just lining up these listings. That's not the case. I mean, you have to really break into these markets. Vinetka, I mean, we're talking about like nutrient market. Statistically, I think this is like a few years back, but for every home, there are 5 real estate agents in that market, right? So there's a lot of competition. So really, in the beginning, you just have to drive anywhere and everywhere just to get as much experience, as many transactions under your belt, and then you can kind of figure out like which market do you resonate with more. Start hosting aggressive open houses over there, start farming that market very regularly, start throwing some community events, start networking the banks, libraries, non-for-profit events in the Chamber of Commerce, Rotary, all that in that market, and that's really how you kind of tap into that market particularly. But until then, just go everywhere, because real estate runs in 90-day cycles. Yeah. Right. Whatever you're going to do today, you're going to get paid on it in 90 days. Yeah. Right. And people just start vibrating. They start doing things, and they get frustrated because they're not getting a check within 30 days or 60 days, and they give up. Right. So 90-day cycle, understand that you have to have 3 to 6 months of reserves, and understand that you have to work very, very, very hard. You have to put in 8-9 hours a day. You have to work 7 days a week. You can't have days off. You have to have a very set routine. You have to have a lot of focus, discipline, ambition. You have to have a very clear why, because you're going to have to do a lot of things and not see any results. It's like going to the gym the first couple of weeks. Yeah. You're working out. You're doing a lot of things. You're paying. You're having meal, diet, everything, but you're not seeing the results immediately. Yeah. But that's just really how real estate is as well. I mean, you have to put a lot of effort in, and you're going to start seeing the results of that 30, 60, 70, 80, 90 days out, mostly on the second half or latter half of that. Another thing, when real estate agents or salespeople are working, or they think they're working, we are our own bosses, right? We don't have 1099 entrepreneurs. We have to hold ourselves accountable. It's very important to find the right tribe, because if you're not amongst the right like-minded people, it's very easy to just deviate from what needs to be done. So there's something called the Pareto principle, which is 80-20 principle. So in real estate, as well as any career, really, there are 20% of activities or tasks that move the needle 80% of the time. Oh, wow. Right? So there's a handful of things: prospecting, open houses, breaking bread, social media posts, stuff like that, right? It's a handful of things that you have to do on a daily basis, accounts for about 20% of the activity. That'll move the needle 80% of the time. Too often, real estate agents are failing, and there's 87% failure rate in first 4 years in real estate, is because they're focusing on 80% of the garbage that moves the needle less than 20% of the time. Wow. So they're working a lot. They're putting 10, 15, 20 hours as well, right? A day or whatever, but they're working on the wrong things. So you have to look at the pyramid. You have to look at your Pareto principle. What are my 20% of activities that's going to move the needle 80% of the time? Right? For us, we've identified that every single one of my team members know what their Pareto principle is. And most of the time, it's got prospecting, right? Got to pick up the phone, whether that's cold calling, whether it's working your past clients, sphere of influence, whatever that is. You have to understand that real estate is synonymous with prospecting. You have to be successful. You have to prospect. There's no other way around it. Open houses, break breads, thank you notes, past client events, joining some of the networking events that are not industry events. So, you can't keep going to, these real estate agent events where everyone's a realtor. How are you getting business? I mean, if you want to do it, go do it in different states where you can actually have a referral exchange. Right. But I mean, these are things that we have to be mindful of, and really kind of understand that, okay, am I giving my best today? If I'm showing up at the office, am I just spending 8 hours, 9 hours of unproductive time over here? Or am I really, really productive? Did I give it my all today? Right? Or was I just in the office organizing my office, organizing my inbox, just scrolling through Instagram and sitting on a desk? I mean, that's 8 hours spent, just not very wisely.
Right. Yeah. One thing I love about the things that you're speaking about is you don't just do it, you lead by example. Right. And one of the things that fascinates me about your career overall is that you obviously have owned other brokerages outside of where you're currently at. Mm-hmm. So I want you to dive a little bit deeper on how you developed into the leader you am, because I am fascinated seeing leaders and just kind of understanding how do you get individuals to follow your lead. What are the things that you do in order for you to obviously build, number one, I believe you're at Remax at one point, and then to build what you built right now?
Yeah. Yeah. Leadership is not easy, man. Leadership is it's a very difficult career, and entrepreneurship is very difficult. It's not easy.
Yeah.
There are a lot of sleepless nights as an entrepreneur, as a leader. You eat last. You truly do. There's a great book. I urge everyone to read that book. It's called Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek.
Okay.
His first book is Find Your Why. That's very popular, but Leaders Eat Last, that's a great book as well. And you have to lead from the front. You can't dictate terms. And that's what I saw was happening in corporate America. And that's just something that I didn't resonate with very, very closely. I just wanted to see the leaders lead from the front and not just order things around. And that's where I just had to deviate and do something different. And I see that's kind of what we're doing over here is you're right. Every single task that I ask someone to do, or every single KPI, a key performance indicator I ask someone to follow or work on, I've done it myself. And I still do it every single day. I prospect every single day, still today. 2 hours, right? Non-negotiable. The first half of my day is never has any client appointments. It's always prospecting. But going back to the Remax days, so in 2015, after 15 million was my second year, and I just had this bug again, right? Entrepreneurial bug.
So
it's
twitching,
like let's like go ahead and now own a brokerage, and that was more ego driven. That was more egocentric, sort of kind of a very selfish decision at that point. I think the right thing would have been to join a top team and really start learning the business inside out, really understanding how to expand and how to and follow a good leader, a good mentor. But I decided to kind of open my first Remax office. I was not even in the business 2 years, so I didn't have my managing broker's license. So I had to go find some managing brokers, and not the best partnership. But I opened up my first office in Skokie. We did I personally did about $22 million the third year, and we were just starting to build an organization and started having some challenges where there were hundreds of thousands of dollars of unpaid commissions. And at that point, I'm like, this is not good. And I'm bringing a lot of people in, and bridge of the same brand, which is Remax, you're right, but have two different offices at the point. So so again, we kind of built it up. Collectively, both offices at one point were doing about $100 million in sales. We had, in its heydays of kind of owning two franchises, about 45 agents collectively between two offices. But you know what? Just I started realizing, writing on the wall, that the era of big box brokerages and mom and pop shops and franchises, it's all on a decline. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see how things go. I believe if we were in 1990s or early 2000s, the franchise models, the Coldwell Bankers, Essentially 21s, all these would have, they were thriving back in the day. They would have been extremely successful. But I think that real estate is going to get very difficult. I think we have maybe 7 to 10 years left in the business as it is today. I think about 60-70% of the brokers will be out of business, and I think it's really the top 10% of the brokers that'll control the market for the most part. But even then, the compensation will be some way subsidized. It'll shrink quite a bit. That's what I believe. And I think there'll be just a different way of compensation. I mean, maybe there'll be some sort of flat fees. We'll start seeing a lot of people saying, here's a retainer agreement. Give me $2,000 up front, and I'll be your buyer's agent. It's going to be $50 for every showing I do. Here's $100 for writing a contract. I'll do $1,000 for negotiating your inspection report. I mean, that kind of stuff where people will start getting more and more creative because there's a good possibility that a lot of buyers would just not have the funds to pay for it, right? And the sellers won't agree to closing cost credit. There might be some scenarios. We're already seeing that. I see it on MLS. 0.5% minus 495. I mean, it's crazy, right? So it's crazy. But again, I think you have to really have good value proposition. And I think, yes, you have to be very, very successful, and you have to be a professional in the industry, expert in the field, to really separate yourself from everyone else who's just dabbling in real estate. You have to be very professional moving forward. But anyway, writing on the wall, I think, again, now it's the era of mega teams. It's about aligning your skill sets and leveraging each other's strengths and weaknesses really to kind of move in the right direction. So I think we're going to see a massive rise of mega teams. Any billion-dollar organization that's successful, if you look at it, it's the mega teams. The brokerages are getting, the margins are shrinking. It's getting more and more difficult to own a brick and mortar. And I think there's such a high turnover that it's difficult to retain a lot of brokers. For that reason, I think just again the value perspective, the camaraderie perspective, the being part of a tribe perspective, right, the accountability perspective, that's very difficult to have in a brokerage where everyone's fighting their own war. You have to be in the same boat, in the same direction, and you burn the boats.
And I mean, one thing I love about what you're saying is just, I think it puts into perspective of where the market's kind of turning to. And I think everybody has to be real honest where the market is turning to. And I do agree. I think there was a similar situation that happened in 2008 when lenders had to get their compensation reduced because everything that they were overcharging. But overall, now we're shifting into a different market where now you have to be a real estate professional. And I do agree that, you know, when you're joining a team, you have to make sure you have the right leadership. So that's why I was really fascinated when I met you because, or when I saw your overall profile, because again, you're starting businesses that Remax, okay, you went from 100 million, then you're like, you know what, I'm taking a jump, I'm going to go somewhere else and starting from scratch. And not a lot of individuals have that mindset to be able to take the risk of everything. You've built everything up to $100 million of production and then ship over to work. I think you went to Compass right after that, or?
Yeah, 2019, we joined Compass. Again,
Crazy,
phenomenal company. It was me, and again, we had an NDA. I didn't reach out to any of the past brokers, and I not till this date, I've not. Some have joined, although, because they reached out. But it was me and my co-founder, Jana Pierce. Shout out to Jana. She handles all the operations. She's been the rock and my right-hand person throughout. But it was her, myself, one part-timer, Emma Lacoste. And, you know, we started the team at Compass. We did $35 million our first year. And then we started bringing really cool rock stars like Steve Davis and, you know, a couple other people. Second year, we did about $75 million. Third year, we did $115 million. Last year, we did about $100 million. And this year, you know, we're planning on aggressively going to we're targeting about $250 million. Are we going to reach that number? I don't know. It's election year. A lot of things are going to happen in June, July within our agreement. A lot of moving parts. A lot of things are going to happen. But we are very optimistic. I think this time around, you need to be very listing heavy. I think if you control the listing, you control the buyers as well. I think, you know, so we've kind of pivoted, and that's why full circle, I was kind of sharing with you earlier, the Winning Wednesday, the Money Monday, these days are specifically focused on FSBOs, cancels, expireds. I mean, we're pulling about 10 to 15 listing appointments per week.
Holy shit.
I'm not saying we're bringing all these signed contracts in. We're going to 10 to 15 face-to-face. I will tell you, we got about 50 to 60% conversion rate on that.
Holy shit.
I mean, 5 to 6 listing appointments at a given time where, you know, I'm looking at stats from the last couple of months. And I'm pulling about 20 to 25 listings every single month. My goal is to have 150 to 200 yard signs in the ground at all times. So if we put 10 properties or 20 properties under contract, I better have 20 PLNs or coming soon listings ready to go as well, so that we're constantly at about 150, because then you have a lot of buyers coming in your network. You have a lot of open houses taking place. You have a lot of people reaching out to you directly. And that's really where you can infuse the team then, because these are then the team members who are brand new. They can start hosting open houses. They can start working with some buyers. They can start having these conversations. They can start doing showing appointments, right? That's where you need leverage. And that's really what we do well here is leverage each other. So we got an incredible tribe, some really, really impressive people, some incredible rising stars. We got, you know, Daniel, we got Max, Jacob, we got like, it's a band of, you know, kind of brotherhood at this point. And, you know, we don't feel like we're coming to work. I mean, you've seen our environment as well. It doesn't really look like much work. We've got foosball table that's seen better days and pool table and everything. But, you know, we work hard, we play hard, we hold each other accountable. And sometimes, even as a leader, I'll come in here And, I'll have those days where I'm just not feeling 100%. It's difficult to motivate and keep everyone motivated and just do everything and deal with bills and this and that. But I'll look around and I see Jacob in the phone booth. I'll see Max in the phone booth. I'll see Rashid in the phone booth. I'll see Jana doing what she's supposed to. I'll see the operation staff killing it. I'm like, no, get back to work. And that's very important. Once again, you got to have the right tribe. You got to be surrounded by the right people, because even if you have bad days, the tribe will pull you back up.
Right. And I think the most important part about our job is accountability. You know, when you have, I was just talking to an individual not too early, and that's another thing I love about this job is you get to meet so many people, so many relationships that you build just from,
so many incredible
like a podcast. You could build a friendship from a podcast. But what I love about it is when you surround yourself with the right individuals, you create a championship mindset, right? You surround yourself with champions, you'll be a champion. You surround yourself with complacency, you'll be complacent. And that's why I think one of the main things that you have kind of taught your team is you're doing everything that they need to do in order for it to be successful. So when you really look at everything, I don't think I've met an individual, right? Like, first off, 7 to 10, like that's freaking crazy. You're a monster and a robot. That's awesome. Because, one of the things that I'm looking forward to my career, right? Over the last couple of years, we've scaled. We've grown. Last year we did 105. We're looking to do 100, close to 125 to 150 units. Wow. And for me, right, like, the one thing that I find it hard is finding individuals like the A team, like you said. And again, you're trying to find individuals. I was blessed to find my loan partner right now. She's my right hand. She does a lot of different things for it. But finding the A team, continue to find A team quality people so we can build that, like you said, a tribe that continues to push each other and to grow in different ways. And I admire that about you, because you've been able to get and excel and make these individuals get hungry every single day. Yeah. Was there a specific thing that you taught them from your own life experiences, from you being a broker? Is there scripts? Like how do you get these individuals to get that will? Point. Or do you think the people, they have to have it already? Yeah. Do you think you have to have it already, or you can teach that?
I think you got to have a little bit of drive, right? I mean, you have to have this drive, this ambition that you want to do something beyond just the ordinary. So I think, yes, you have to have something that's going to give you a strong enough why, and that kind of pushes you in a direction where then you need the right vehicle. Right. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're just giving them the blueprint and we're giving them the vehicle. And with the right leadership and mentorship we have in the organization, we can just shorten the learning curve. Right. See, that's a problem, is a lot of people will come in and they will do everything, make mistakes, get burnt out, and then just quit. So there's a lot of talent that just hasn't been connected with the right tribe, or hasn't connected with the right mentorship or leadership. Right. You can take a lot of people that have quit real estate in past 3-4 years and pull a lot of rock stars out of those, right? A lot of them, right? You just need right guidance, because sometimes people don't know what they're supposed to do. Right. And that's the biggest issue in real estate, is because you're your own boss. I mean, no one's telling you to wake up. No one's telling you to, hey, wake up at 6 o'clock, read a book, do your savers, right? Hal Elrod reference, silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, scribing, right? Make your calls. Don't get any appointments. Don't go on coffee dates and this and that with clients. Don't break bread before 12 o'clock. From 9 or 8 o'clock till 11 should be nothing but prospecting, phone calls. Keep adding people to the database. There are a lot more people that are buying and selling that you do not know than people that you do know. So you constantly need to add more and more people in there. How do you get the database? Call FISBOs. Start dialing them. Having a dialogue. Hey, I see the property is listed on the property. Have you had any success with that? Are you hosting an open house this weekend? How long have you had the property in the market? 100 days? That's really odd, because everything we're putting in the market, selling under contract, it's going under contract 5 days. Something must not be right about your property. Is there a way for us to kind of collaborate? Can we sit down for 5 minutes? Let me show you what I do differently. Is it a value thing? Is it a price? A million things we can talk about, right? Over and over and over again. But these are the scripts that people have to understand and know. And people don't know that. People, take path of least resistance, like we shared. They get in their own way from being successful. But that's where the tribe comes in. And they're like, listen, it's okay. We're all bad. Right? No one's good on their first call. Right? Let's just make enough bad calls so that we start getting confidence to then start switching and becoming better. Right? So I'll tell you this. I could have the best prospector in the world. Best prospector, right? Tonality, scripting, every single thing is perfect. If that person is competing with someone who's the worst prospector, can't get something right at all, right? Just fumbles everything. Terrible tonality. But if that person who's terrible at prospecting is nonstop working 8 hours a day, dialing, prospecting, and the most skilled person never picks up the phone, that person's going to outwork this person and outsell this person any day of the week.
Yeah. Hard work beats talent. Hard work beats talent.
When talent doesn't want to work hard.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And the beautiful part about it is, everything that we've been taught in this industry, it's very cliche. Like, you know what you have to do in order for you to be successful in any industry, but it's just actually doing it, putting the footwork. And I always talk about mentorship, because I would not be where I'm at without my mentor, right? Like, he is my uncle. So I got lucky. I got in the industry with my uncle, and he's the area manager of our company. Wow. And anything he said, he said to jump, how high? Down. You put your head down, put your work. How high do I got to jump? What do I have to do? And it was, go get my laundry. I went to go get a dry clean. Like, it didn't matter what it was. Yeah. And it got to a certain point where I really started feeding off the things that he was teaching me, and it developed me into the loan officer that I've been able to develop right now. And I'm interested, and I love to see that you've been able to grow this massive team, and especially in the market and uncertainty that's forthcoming. I'm interested to see like how you guys are transitioning too, because you just made a big jump. How do you think the new situation that you guys are in right now, how do you think that's going to impact your business, and how can you scale even more? I love it. If you want to tell everybody about that. Yeah,
so fresh announcement. I don't know if you saw Yahoo News this morning or Apple News or whatever. Inman, Crane, Real Deal. So our team, Kumar Group, has transitioned to a new brokerage. We've partnered up with Real Brokerage.
Nice.
It's a publicly traded company in all 50 states and 4 provinces in Canada. It's a cloud-based model.
Nice.
We are very, very excited, and I truly believe, selflessly sharing this with people, and I'm happy to have as many one-on-ones and explain and argue and debate on this, that now it is the era of a mega teams and a platform that you build a team on or brokerage on. Yeah. And Real was providing that platform to either have an independent brokerage if you want to build on that, or build a mega team. And now it's the era of not being hyper local anymore. So if you just want to be in Chicago, you're going to run into issues. There's going to be competition. Now it's the era of, if you're building a team, expand. So our goal is to be $1 billion team by 2027 in 4 different states. So it's going to be Illinois, it's going to be Michigan, it's Wisconsin, and it's Missouri market, right? That's where we're going to start expanding.
Nice.
And then the idea is to be in 20 markets in the next 10 years.
Holy cow.
You can't do that with some of the big box brokerages. I can't do that with franchise. I can't do this with other brand names. Phenomenal companies. If you're a smaller team, 3, 4, 5 people, it makes sense. It made sense for us. We really scaled aggressively at our previous brokerage. One of the best companies, most progressive brick and mortar, but it is a brick and mortar at the end of the day.
Right.
At the end of the day. Someone's got to pay the bills. Someone's got to pay for the brick and mortar. Someone's got to pay for the staff. And the way we run our shop, I mean, we have our own space. We've got a 10,000 square foot office over here. We have our own operations. We have our own in-house partners. We just felt like we graduated that level. So we're kind of at the next level. And, in order to have a team of 180 people, everyone doing $5 to $6 million, that's how we're going to scale to $1 billion market across different states. So we're very excited about it. It's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah,
it's a little nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie. It's a huge transition, but we are very excited to kind of share with everyone how our journey is moving forward. We're going to be, brought in a super cool media company as well. So we do a lot of recording in-house as well. So we're going to be doing just a lot of outreach and kind of sharing our experience with people.
And what I love about it is that there's everything about your journey tells me that you're going to be successful in any endeavor that you do, whatever brokerage you're going to be at. You've shown time and time again, it doesn't matter what's in front of you. You will put your head down, you'll figure it out, and you'll make it work. And one thing that fascinates me is that the cloud-based brokerage, right? They're not the type where you have to have some sort of office, right? You can be wherever, whenever, you know? Yeah. And I think that's the unique part about it. That's pretty cool, because you could connect with individuals, obviously, from other states that you don't have to technically meet face-to-face. You're just a part of the Kumar Group, and, you have the ability to do Zoom, Teams, and it just allows you to connect with other individuals that, like you said, other brokerages don't allow you to scale in that sense, right? So it's just amazing to hear that the amount of plans and everything that you're looking to kind of expand to, man.
Yeah. Again, the only reason we have this space is because we want to do something a little differently. We want to have a community of entrepreneurs over here. We want to have the tribe, but we want to have a community of dreamers that are coming in here, whether those are lenders, whether those are inspectors, insurance people, contractors, and have a lot of cool events and have a really cool culture where people can come and share experiences, and one will help the other.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt was missing. There's a lack of that sort of camaraderie that I just felt was missing at a very on a granular level, something that was a little bit more genuine, right? So just that sort of selfless, pay it forward kind of feel was just missing in a lot of the gatherings and meetings, and we just wanted to create that over here.
And this is like a corporate office. This will be like real people's corporate office for all the individuals that want to be a part of the camaraderie group.
Yeah.
Cool.
So again, we're gonna open it up to people.
Yeah.
Whether that's real or whether that's different organizations.
Yeah.
We have a lot of friends that come and visit, and they see, hey, show us your setup, tell us what you're doing. Can we be part of your calling session? Can we just come and shadow your operations team? Can we see how you're lining up the vendors in here? Yeah. It's open doors. I mean, we just, again, it's this industry, it's a lot of people in my beginning of my career just kept the cards to themselves. It was very difficult to kind of tap into mentorship and leadership at that time. But that's what I'm doing at this point. People that are aspiring real estate agents who want to become a realtor or a lender or whatever the case is, open doors, come on in, get on our calendar. Let us show you what's going on. Let us share with you what is important to be successful in this business, and shorten that learning curve, and then make your decision.
I love that, man. I do 100% agree. I do think a vast majority of people who are in the industry that have been on an extended period of time, for me, it felt as if when I got in the industry, it was tough to find someone that I can kind of really latch onto and get some more advice on how to scale and grow a business. And not even that they probably were push me away or anything. It was just, it's kind of intimidating to be able to go up to somebody who, is doing hundreds of millions, $50 million of production, because you don't think they'd probably have the time for you for whatever reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I
imposter
really
syndrome is huge.
Exactly.
Plus, I don't know if you're an immigrant or not. I don't know if you're born here or not, but I'm an immigrant. I moved in 2005.
That's crazy, man.
So I had those cards stacked against me as well.
So
and
crazy, man.
And genuine imposter syndrome. It's like, is this person gonna want to help me?
Yeah.
Should I be reaching out to this person? So like I said, there are a lot of mistakes I made, but you got to fail forward, and you got to fail fast, because every mistake, there's a massive lesson, and you have to implement it.
Implement that in your life. I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I'll always end an episode for everybody that's watching this to just a piece of advice. Like, if you had to talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give them, so that way everybody else could see what you would do differently?
Ego is the enemy.
I love that.
Ego is the enemy.
I love that.
Take the ego out of any equation. Be selfless. Pay it forward. Try to build other people up. Build other leaders, and everything will come that you're looking for.
I love that, man. I love that. And I, honestly, about the ego part, the one thing I will share, but before we wrap everything up, that's true. When you take a step back and you self-reflect on the decision that you make, so a lot of times, if you just take an extra 10 minutes about a decision that you're about to make, it allows you to really think about whether the decision you make is egotistical or whether or not it's actually a really good decision. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing it, man. I really do appreciate everybody that's watching. If you didn't already, make sure to take your notepad out, because there's so many great tips for you guys to be able to grow and scale your business in 2024 and for many years to come. So again, thank you, brother, for joining.
Of course.
If you have not already, like, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day.